You're listening to the Quoted Podcast Season 17. Now, let's get on to today's episode. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Quoted Podcast. I might have made a bad decision and decided to try to record this outside today, and I cannot see myself on the camera currently, and I'm using a different microphone, and I don't even know if you can hear me. So we're gonna see how this goes because I still don't know what I'm doing. So we're gonna just try it out, and if it fails, it fails. But welcome to the second episode of season 17. I'm super excited because today I just want to talk about God and talk about who He is, and just, yeah. So, I wanted to start off by reading some, what I want to call like God moments that people shared on Threads. I found this last night, and this person posted, "Give me your most unhinged God, if this is you, give me a sign moments. I mean the kind of thing that made you stop and think, okay, God, I see you and I'm listening." And so I went through and read a few of these, and so I saved some of them to share because I thought they were really beautiful, just like little things where God showed people that He's there for them. And I think a lot of times we need that reminder, that He is there for us, even if we don't know it. So I'm gonna read these, and hopefully they'll encourage you. I will try to link the thread below if I can, if you want to go and read some of these other God moments. I'm sure He's done some amazing things in your life too that you could add to this thread. But yeah, it's nice to just remember what He's done for us and to go back and like look at it and not forget it, even if it's a small little thing. So, one person said, "After my niece died, I was sitting in the airport and wondered if God even existed. I said, God, if you're real, I want to see a red balloon today. On the drive home from the flight, I remembered my prayer and felt a deep sadness that I didn't see a red balloon, but thought of course I wouldn't. When I got to my sister's house, I walked in the bathroom to shower, and there was a red balloon sitting on the bathroom counter." Now, this one is just like, it's a small thing, but it's like so beautiful, and it's such a cool thing because when would there just be a red balloon sitting in the bathroom? Like, that just, I feel like nobody does that, and so um like, that's so cool. That's such a cool thing for someone like to just see. Someone else said, "I get signs so often I can't remember, but there's one. A woman prayed over her audience in a podcast. Lord, give us strength to practice patience. I'm a chronically impatient person. The next day I'm about to jaywalk, but then suddenly I heard the prayer, stepped back and waited. Not 2 seconds later, a truck runs a red light and whips past me. Had I walked, I would have been hit." Now, whenever I read this one, I thought that's pretty crazy because imagine that person didn't listen to that prayer, or didn't take it to heart, or didn't even think about it after it was prayed and just forgot about it later, and then thought, oh, I want to walk the street, and like had that little sense of intuition, but then completely ignored it and just kept walking. Their life would have ended that day. But the fact that God reminded them of that specific prayer, it saved their life. Like, that's just completely incredible. And hold on, there's an airplane. I'm just imagining those people on that airplane just like looking down and here I am just sitting here with the microphone in my backyard. I just think that's hilarious, but I'm not the only one who's done this because my favorite podcaster, Claudia Campbell, has been going outside and she inspired me. Even though it's not like the best thing because there are so many distractions, it's easier for me to just sit in my room and talk, but whatever. So, yeah, I just like those little hints of intuition, like reminding you not to do something, are sometimes from God. Obviously, if it's something bad, then it's not, but like I just love how he just gives us this little push towards where we need to go. And then when we actually listen to him and then we see like what he was trying to say the whole time and we realize that it could have been a life or death situation and we actually listen to him and we survive and we make it through. So, someone else said, this one was so interesting to me. While working at a cemetery back last July, cleaning up a headstone, sweating my butt off in 85-degree heat, I looked up and asked God, if it is within your will, is it possible for you to cover the sun with clouds so that I may finish this stone in the shade? Kid you not, 5 minutes later, from a perfectly blue sky, clouds roll in and cover the entire area around the cemetery. Now, this one to me feels like it's such a small thing. Like, clouds just out of nowhere, here they come. But I think that God just loves us so much that he likes giving us the little things we ask for sometimes. Now, yes, I'm talking about signs that people got from the Lord, but don't forget that not every sign you ask for, you're gonna get. Because, like, we do not need signs to know that God is real. Because we are supposed to just put our faith in him no matter what. But it is really cool when he does give us signs because it just it really truly reminds us who he is and that he is there for us no matter what. But like we should never just expect him to give us the signs that we want. Because I mean it's so much more special when you like aren't expecting to see something that you wanted to see and then you can remember like that was God, like he was there for me in that moment and he wanted me to see that. So okay, let's read this next one. I told God, if I'm not supposed to marry this man in 2 months, then please end it. Within 5 minutes, he called and broke up with me. Nothing had happened other than this prayer, totally out of left field. God wasn't done. I cried and prayed and said, please have mercy on me. And my phone rang again, and it was a guy I had known in 6th grade and had given my number 2 years before. He randomly found the number in his backpack 2 years later on the same night God called off my wedding. This is kind of like a lot in this one, but like it's also like so crazy because sometimes like these are like answered prayers. Like some of these, like we pray for stuff and then time goes by and we forget about those prayers, but then we remember them one day and we look back at them years later and we're like, oh my goodness, that prayer was answered. And so like that's just a reminder that even though it feels like praying doesn't do anything and that you always have to wait to see if your prayers actually get answered, like it's worth it. Because like when you look back at what God has done and you see that he answered that prayer, it's like oh my goodness, like I prayed for that and now it's here. Like someone I follow on Instagram, Georgia Brown, who's now Georgia Williams because she got married, she has this whole thing where she does like a prayer closet. And she, for years, would sit in that prayer closet in her apartment and write down her prayers and put them on that wall. And then she ended up meeting the love of her life and got married. Then moved to an apartment with him, continued her prayer wall, and now she's about to have her first child and move into a home of her own. And she prayed for all of that to happen. And now she's finally like at that point in her life where those prayers are coming true. And I'm not saying that all of your prayers are going to come true. Just seeing them come to fruition is so beautiful. So we have, that might be all. Oh, but in Heather Thompson Day's little thing that she said, at the end she says, God will interrupt your plans, but we have to be willing to follow the guidance. Which I think is so good, because like we have so many plans in life of things that we want to do, but sometimes those plans just get completely interrupted because they're not God's will. And we get put on a different path because our plans were not part of God's plan. And ultimately, it's such an encouragement to remember that like God's plan for you is the best plan. And that even though you want so many different things, the things that he wants for you are the most important. So like the fact that this says, but we have to be willing to follow the guidance. Like we have to be willing to take that path and trust him with what's going to happen next. And I just think that's so good. But yeah, I want this week's episode to be an encouragement today and just to remind you who God is, because if I could have him on this podcast, I would, but it's not possible. So instead, he's here in spirit, and we're going to read some of the Bible now. So I was going to read like some different verses, which I should probably pull up, but I just randomly went to a page in my Bible because I was like, okay, God, give me some Bible story to talk about. And I turned to 2nd Chronicles, which sometimes there are just books of the Bible that I forget about. I forget they exist completely. And like I forgot what happened in 2nd Chronicles completely. But I turned to 2nd Chronicles chapters 19 and 20, which is about Jehoshaphat, which is the most interesting name ever, of course. He was the king of Judah in that time. And all of my little notes, because like I take so many notes on my Bible, and all of my little notes are just like so encouraging to me. Like just like each verse had something that I needed to write down in it. So I was like, okay, this is perfect. I want to read just one of the verses. So just keep in mind, Jehoshaphat was the king of Judah during that time. And in chapter 20, it's titled that Jehoshaphat defeats Moab and Ammon. So it's about like a battle or an army. And obviously, I'm sure that's really scary and really hard to go through, but God was with Jehoshaphat during that. So I want to read verse 15 through possibly 17 or less, but let's see. Let's just read. He said, "Listen, King Jehoshaphat, and all who live in Judah and Jerusalem. This is what the Lord says to you. Do not be afraid or discouraged because of this vast army, for the battle is not yours, but God's. Tomorrow march down against them. They will be climbing up the pass of Ziz, and you will find them at the end of the gorge in the desert of Jeruel. You will not have to fight this battle. Take up your positions, stand firm, and see the deliverance the Lord will give you, Judah and Jerusalem. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Go out to face them tomorrow, and the Lord will be with you." And so my notes on that specific, like those specific verses, was the battle is not yours, but God's. and then God helps us fight our battles, which like it's just another like thing that goes along with like just letting him lead you in life and like letting him choose your path. I feel like I've talked about this so much, like surrender. um but like it's such a good reminder because we go through so many obstacles every day, and it's easy to forget that like all you have to do is just like pray to God about it. Like all you need to do is just like take a breath and tell him how you're feeling, and let him remind you that he's there for you no matter what. Because there are so many things that are out of our control. So I also to add to that, I want to read some verses, like some other verses about God being in control. So Isaiah 41:10 says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And honestly, I just love how I came into recording this episode thinking that I was just going to tell you about who my Jesus is, but I'm also like telling you and reminding you to trust in him no matter what. So I feel like hopefully someone needs to hear this today, because like I know that you're probably going through things in life that are really difficult to get through, but this is your reminder today that God is in control and he's got you. My friends Grace and Max just released their second song together, and it's called Jesus Cares for You, and it's based on Matthew 6 in the Bible, which is like the verse about how he takes care of the lilies, the flowers of the fields. Why would he not also take care of you? And it's like just a reminder, like look around you, look at how cool nature is, and like the fact that the flowers grow, the bees get pollen from the flowers to nourish them. Like look at everything that God has created. Like why would you think he's not with you? Why would you think he's left you all alone after everything that he's done? Like the sky, like everything about nature is so beautiful, and then we convince ourselves that we're all alone and that God is not there for us. And to remember that you aren't alone. All you need to do is walk outside and look at the nature. Like the grass is currently growing, the leaves are on the trees, the sky is beautiful, the birds are happy, they're singing. Like if God created that, why would he leave you alone? Like he's constantly nourishing his creation and he's constantly there for us. Romans 8:28 also says, "And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose." Proverbs 19:21, "Many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand." Oh my goodness. I forgot about that verse, and I think that's my new favorite verse, because many are the plans in the mind of a man, but it's the purpose of the Lord that will stand. Like I think they underestimate how good he actually is, because I think we forget to stop and look at what he's doing in our lives, and we let other things steal our joy. um but like he's the light of the world, and he's there with us every second of every day, but yet we continue to forget that, and we continue to put that on pause. So as you're going through your day and the rest of your life, don't forget what he's done for you, and don't forget that he's in control no matter what, because he is. And don't forget to take notice of the signs and the things that he's trying to tell you, because it's easy to forget what he's trying to say when you're not actually listening. It's easy to not be able to hear what he's saying when you're not paying attention and you're not being focused. And so I also highly recommend you go pick up your Bible today. I've been doing a Bible reading plan, and it's a way for me to like make sure I pick up my Bible every day. And it's so good. Like, you forget about some of the stories in the Bible because there's a fly on my phone listening to this conversation currently. It's easy to forget about so many of the good stories in the Bible because there are so many of them. So like when you actually pick up the word and go and read through them, you're going to find stuff you forgot about. But you're going to find stories that you needed to hear. Like Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat is a reminder to us that God is in control. And he's going to help you fight your battles. He's not going to leave you stranded. He's not going to leave you all alone. The devil's favorite thing to do is make you think that you're all alone, but really you're not. He just wants you to think that because he wants to win. But you gotta stay strong and you gotta remember who's in control and you can't let him win. Let's read at least 1 or 2 more verses before I end this and say goodbye and hope that the audio sounds decent and that it is not trash. Ephesians 1:11 says, "In him we have obtained an inheritance, having been predestined according to the purpose of him who works all things according to the counsel of his will." Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope." And one of my favorites, we just read, I think I just love Proverbs. Proverbs 16:9. "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." So, what path are you going to take today? Are you going to try to take your own path? Or are you going to step back and tell God what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and let him lead? Because I know that you want to do what you want to do. But while you're doing those things, don't forget about him and don't forget that his way is the best way. You might not think so, but it is. I can promise you that. Yeah. That's all I have to say. That's really all I have to say. I just want this to be your little reminder today. Like, maybe you're listening to this while you're driving somewhere, maybe you're eating breakfast, or who knows what you're doing, but like, I just wanted to talk about my Jesus today, and I just wanted to remind you, like, he's always there for you, and that you're not alone. And yeah, you should check out last week's episode if you haven't already. I talked to my friend Brooke Mertz, who has her very first single coming out this Friday, actually, like the day after this episode comes out, which means you don't have to wait that long and you should go and listen to it. It's called Invisible, and it was written based on Hagar's story, and we talked about that in that episode, and it has a really good meaning behind it, and it's a reminder that we are not invisible, we are not alone, like, we have so much worth, and we have a purpose. So I think you might like that episode as well, because I love the meaning of Brooke's song, and I think it's just going to be something that a lot of people need to hear. So, and I also told her it was going to be my top song of the year. So you kind of have to go listen to it, and you got to stick around to see if it is. So, but yeah, thanks for listening. I am doing a guest every other episode. So next week you're going to hear from another one of my musically talented friends who has another song out. So stay tuned for that. And until then, remember that the Lord establishes your steps and he knows the right way to go. So don't forget to listen. Don't forget to listen. Okay, I'm gonna leave you to that. Bye. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Quoted Podcast. Come back next Thursday for more.